Hey, John Franco, just so you know, there's a little feedback coming from your microphone.
Okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know. What do you hear? You hear the noise I'm making?
It sounds like a conversation. Someone's having a conversation in the background.
Yes, that's not me. But anyway, that's totally silent where I am. Okay, stand by. We're letting IT know that we're ready to go live. When they let me know that we're live, I'll let you know. Mr. Chairman, this meeting is live.
Good afternoon, good evening all. Welcome to our Monday, April 19th, 2021 Historic Preservation Commission meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order at 6:47 p.m. Secretary Henderson, could you please read the notice of compliance?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given and published in the North Jersey Herald and News on August 7th, 2020, and filed with the clerk of the City of Paterson on July 31st, 2020, and posted in the Paterson City Hall immediately thereafter.
Thank you, Secretary. Can you please give us a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner DeLees.
Absent.
Commissioner Garcia Leon.
Absent.
Commissioner Ahmed.
Here.
Commissioner Corbo.
Present.
Commissioner Redmond.
Absent.
Vice Chair Raffel.
Present.
Commissioner Simpson.
Present.
Commissioner Walter.
Present.
Chair Tate.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to move to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes for March 22nd, 2021. Can we get a motion and second on the floor?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right. So, Tim, we have Chair Raffel, and we have Commissioner Corbo for the second. Can you confirm this?
Confirmed.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ahmed.
Yes.
Commissioner Corbo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Raffel.
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Chair Tate.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Moving along to item number 4, administrative matters. Executive Director, would you provide us the information from A through E, beginning with COVID-19 state of emergency protocols?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Starting with item A, COVID-19 state of emergency protocols. A quick update on protocols is that the City of Paterson workforce is fully back to work full-time. All city offices are open for walk-in business. We are under the same protocols for face-to-face meetings with regard to entering city buildings is requiring wearing of masks and monitoring of temperatures before coming in to buildings. Folks who are monitored and have elevated temperatures will be sent away, and those without wearing masks will be either offered masks or asked to return with the mask. This is actually good news. We've already been working at our offices full time with full workforce for a while now, at least a month or two. And I wanted to take this opportunity to let everyone listening know that this is not entirely new, but we have received a memo telling us that this is and anyone who's not operating on this level is now operating on this level. On the HPC website, we will make any adjustments to our current memo for COVID-19 protocols. I think we're probably going to remove the protocol memo from the website and replace it with one stating that everything is as expected in normal circumstances. As for item B, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce to the Commission our new attorney providing board services. Mike T. Gaeta is on the line for the first time with us. I'd like to offer her a welcome to our Commission and our public meeting. Mike T. is taking the place of Ben David Sellyman, who was filling in after our former attorney had left her employment with the city and went on to another post. So Mikey, welcome, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from Mikey as we get into this work. Mikey, do you want to say anything? Okay. So under item C, zoning violations or referrals, I'd like to refer to our historic preservation specialist, Tim Henderson, for an update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The director and I have not submitted any new violations since our previous meeting, but I wanted to update the Commission on a series of violations that were discussed at multiple meetings. There are 2 furniture stores on Main Street which are opposite each other. One is called Home Status, and the other is called 222 Furniture Gallery, I believe. These are 2 businesses who put up signage entirely without zoning or HPC permits, and both of those violations eventually turned into summonses. The property owners filed for adjournments, in one case multiple adjournments, but both of those cases will go in front of the municipal judge in the next month. The director and I are working closely with the city's prosecutor and also the zoning inspector who will be testifying in front of the judge about these violations to ensure to the best of our ability that both of these properties are brought into compliance with the zoning ordinance and the Downtown Commercial Historic District design guidelines. I will continue to keep you updated as we get closer to those hearings. Thank you.
This is Chair Tate. Might I interject? Can we open up for commissioners to see if there's any questions regarding those violations? I know Commissioner Walter was pretty in tune with a lot of this stuff going on. I just wanted to see if there's any questions before we move forward.
Well, I know that there's a lot of violations in the east side, but I think because of the things with the courts, that they haven't come up into court yet. Is that the case?
I did have I did have a conversation with the prosecutor about to see if I could learn more about what's happening with the courts, because we have been hearing I don't know, rumors or stories about the court not being, not working or postponing things. And there is actually a protocol that is in place that comes from the state level directing courts because of their meetings online due to COVID protocols, that they're not issuing like death warrants when people don't show up for their court date. So that is something I was able to confirm, I've been hearing about. So the folks who have received violations, if they don't actually show up at their court date online, because there's only online court available, they reschedule it and they reach out to the person again, I guess the defendant in this case again, and remind them that they need to show up in court. Now, if they don't show up, let's say several times, then of course more attention is placed on next steps. So that's what I can tell you about. And yes, they are granting adjournments at the request of some of the defendants who may want to get more time or more of their materials put together because of the kind of clumsiness of the format, is what I understand as well. So that's what I can pass on to you about it. So some of this is a bit slower than we're used to with the in-person system.
If there are no further questions, we can move to D under
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to leave item C with the one following note. The Department of Economic Development and with all of its divisions within land use have been working toward going live and sort of starting and kicking off a new software system that's called SDL. I'm not sure what that stands for. SDL is a system that should allow us to be much more in touch with and on top of the permitting process, the zoning and building permitting process as it moves through. A system that can also allow for, to whatever the extent they set it up, a front end on the city's website where not only applicants but also defendants, or your
John Franco, on my side, you break it up a lot. I don't know if that's me or you.
confirmed. Same issue here in John Franco.
Sounds like he might be gone.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen under participants, and I don't see the mic indicated that he's present. Tim, is there any other fill-in information that you think what might be useful until he returns?
We could certainly advance to agenda item number E. The annual certified local government report is actually currently due, but there are extensions, obviously due to COVID. But the director needs to make sure that all of our commissioners' appointments are certified and that our commissioners have kept up with the training as required by the CLG program. And I think that's what John Franco is getting at with the New Jersey Historic Preservation Conference. but I don't want to speak any further than that, Mr. Chairman, because I'm not fully briefed.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I think, yep.
I'm back. Sorry, phone cut out on me. Yes, I left off at SDL software. So the SDL software should facilitate and better organize not only the application systems, but the kind of tiering or systems of approvals and prior approvals that are needed under different applications. But then also in the follow-up, there'll be more or better integration with the hotline system when people want to call in and announce, what they see in their neighborhood violation, and then when we get inspectors to check out the situation, when it goes to a summons level, so we'll be able to monitor this better, and our residents also should have a better sense of control and being able to do a lot of self-service on checking on the status of applications and even on the whereabouts of their properties, if that's historic or not. We've been obviously talking a lot about this. What would be a way to get our new residents or our residents have even been with their properties for a long time to be updated about the historic status of their buildings. So the software we've been discussing also has a way that we can do automatic form letters and send them out via email addresses and so forth. So we're looking forward to getting this system started, and maybe next month we'll have another update for you as we get one or two steps closer to going live with this software. As far as the Historic Preservation Conference, they have announced, last year the annual conference was just canceled because COVID really just shut everything down like a ton of bricks, and the planning that was underway was certainly not ready to go to a virtual level. So I believe they've been anticipating this for this year's conference, and they announced the conference registration is open. It's all virtual. I've kept the commission up to date over last year. I'd say sort of in the fall of last year, there were a couple of one or two opportunities to join virtual conferences, including the national conference for the National Trust for Historic Preservation National Conference that was held virtually last year. So we have now the opportunity to join the annual state level conference from our computers, not having to travel, which again I hope will facilitate everyone's ability to attend. I'll remind the commission that we haven't for going on, maybe this might be our third year now, last year and possibly the year before, we have not had training sessions where we've had a lot of attendance by the commissioners, or even the opportunity, frankly, to do our annual requirement training for CLG purposes. So I really encourage you, and I really hope that you'll take a look at the website. I sent the link in a separate email. Check out the conference offerings, see which ones you'd be interested in. I'm going to give a deadline for all of you to check in with us, Tim and myself, with an email and let us know about your availability and interest in attending the conference by May 1st. So we can then facilitate the registrations. Of course, there's a fee, and we'll pay for the fee so that you'll be able to meet your training requirement for this year. That also reminds me about, some of you might remember that our annual financial disclosures are usually due at the end of April. I'd like to let you know that the state has not sent out their information yet, and we have word from our city clerk that the annual submissions for this year will be moved to May 30th. There'll be about a month in delay. The deadline will be moved a month in delay from April 30th. So soon you should be hearing from me, as you do every year with PIN numbers and financial disclosure statements deadlines. So I do hope you'll take a look at the conference May 1st. We'll send out a reminder email letting you know of the deadlines coming. That gives you plenty of time to check out and see what your availability is and your interest in the conference sessions. I'm going to look into if you can actually fill out your own registrations and pick your own conference kind of rooms, because I think in virtual registration, you really need to let them know specifically which ones you want to attend while you're registering. So I'll look into that. However, you should keep in mind that if you do plan to attend, if you can't register yourself, like self-registration, then you'll need to email us about which sessions that you would like to attend so we can sign you up for that, if it's going to be on our side to do that. So as you're looking at the website, do make notes about which sessions that you're interested in attending. And I think Tim was talking about item E, annual CLG reports.
Yes, he provided a brief introduction to the topic, but I believe he wanted you to continue. Okay,
Yeah, the annual CLG reports are due, and I wanted for Tim to give an update as to the status of our annual report for this year. So I think he's done that. So that would conclude my report on item 4, administrative matters, unless there are questions.
If there are no hands raised, then I'd like to move to committee reports. I see Kelly's hand raised.
Hi, Will. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I just wanted to throw in there about the conference, and I know John Franco and Tim will know that I will be attending, and I just wanted to put a plug in that I'll be giving one of the presentations, I think on Thursday, on diversity at historic sites and telling those stories. I think a lot of the sessions we're still trying to put together from what I understand from the committee, but you don't want to miss it. That's all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Actually, I look forward to checking out your session. Are there any other questions or comments? Executive Director, please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So for committee reports, if there are no reports on the floor or for the floor this evening, I would just like to mention I would like to request several committees to meet in between now and the next meeting, and I believe we'll have some business to report at the main meeting, because there are some items that do need to be looked into in a timely fashion, including design guidelines and our draft guidelines that are coming in for the Great Falls Historic District soon. So should we move on to? Did you move on to number 6 yet, or?
Yes. Before we move on to number 6, I just want to say I would be remiss without saying welcome aboard, Maita, and we look forward to working with you on the commission. At this time,
thank you so much. I apologize before I was muted. I'm still familiarizing myself with WebEx. It's been a while. I'm usually on Zoom now, so I apologize to all the commissioners.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
At this time, I'd like to move to item 6, old business and correspondence. We're going to start with A, municipal historic landmark designations. And Executive Director, could you read sub-item 1 and 2?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So item 1 is our ongoing interest in the designation of Church of the Holy Communion on Pearl Street. And slowly but surely, we're making more and more progress each month. It did take a while since the sale of the church was finalized in December. It did take January and even into February before I was able to, contact and talk with the pastor there. And I did not, I was not able to make it to last month's HPC meeting, but I was able to speak with him just prior to the meeting. And I wanted to let you know that I had made contact, a one-on-one contact with him, and went over the different topics of designation and offered assistance, and let them know that we were at their disposal to assist in helping to figure any issues with the building that might need addressing. And also, we sort of concluded with that I would be sending the different handouts and information about designation responsibilities, and also grant funding that comes with designation, onto him so that he could actually discuss the topics, in writing with the board members before we informally, kind of acknowledge that we would like to move forward with the designation. Meanwhile, he did recap some of the items that they had looked into working on. Right, most immediately, of course, primarily is the interior. Getting the interior ready for them to worship there is, of course, a priority. And the interior, of course, is not really under our purview, so I know they were focusing on that. But he did mention that they wanted to also look at windows and the openings in the building soon. So I think there might be work that they're looking to take on that would be of interest to us to help them with. So I believe by our next meeting in May, I'm sure that I will have sent out this information and be looking for a response by then as well. So another update in May as to which way we're going forward with this designation, or how we're moving forward with this designation. On the second item for 480 Totowa, the niche mill at the Totowa Avenue site. If you recall, there had reported to you that there was an application, a planning board application in for this property to be put into reuse as a mini storage site. And I've been watching that application, and since then we have had opportunities to work with the owners and financiers of the building to be convincing of the potential of the building to be reused more as mixed use in accordance with the First Ward redevelopment plan, and also in synergy with the other fantastic opportunities and projects that are unfolding all around the niche mill site. For example, Vista Park, and also Angelo Stadium, and the new parking deck and building, residential building that will be built basically right next door to niche mill, along with the Angelo Stadium project. So I feel that we've really taken the application and the buyer's interest in the property a long way from where things started. We've had the opportunity to meet with architects who have done a kind of preliminary sketch out on how units would be laid out in the building and the rendering of what the exterior would be like, and then also looking intently into a novel occupant for the second and ancillary sort of building on the site, for a specific commercial use that would be more appealing for visitor services or community services, and we've been looking intensely into that to help the project along. So that's my report for now. I hope that I can report to you soon that we have maybe a site plan to look at that's been submitted along with the with these like the main storage plan kind of being withdrawn and swapped out with a site plan for proposal for mixed use. So with that in mind, I believe that our designation, was discussed in context of this reuse. The reuse plan we're looking for now would include historic preservation tax credits, the federal tax credits. So the building would definitely need to be registered on the National Register if the tax credits were to be pursued. And the building is currently eligible. It has a certificate of eligibility through the mill survey specifically for eligibility for individual listing on the National Register. So it's not a big lift to get them to move them along one step closer. So I believe that that if we continue this momentum with the reuse planning of the building, we'll also know the right time to press the planning board for a meeting presentation to do this designation proposal for the same project. Perhaps it can move along at the same time that a site plan is going forward. When we get to review a site plan, we'll talk to the owners about also acknowledging a local designation of the building. That concludes my report under item A.
Thank you, Executive Director. Before we move forward to the next item B, are there any questions from the commissioners on the two items that were just read by the Executive Director?
This is
Walter.
it's not on the two items over there, but I just want to mention that one of our first designations, while we're talking about designations, was St. Michael's Church. And just, I don't know, about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, they did a major rehab on that church. And it's the first time, was this past week for a funeral, that I happened to be inside the church. And it is magnificent. They did a wonderful job inside as well as outside, which we reviewed. But the inside is just as gorgeous as what they did on the outside. Thought everybody would be interested in knowing that.
Commissioner Raffel.
Say that again? I couldn't. Was it direct?
Do you have a comment?
I didn't have. Yeah, no, I didn't have a question. I'm sorry. I don't know why I think it's the space bar. My bad.
Are there any questions additional to what we just heard? If not, I'd like to move forward to item B, Director's Report, Activities at Historic Sites. Director, can you read from 1 through 6?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course. So for item number 1 under the Falls National Park area, we've got a couple listed here on the agenda. First one being Angelo Stadium, and I'm very pleased to tell everyone that last week there was a groundbreaking event at the stadium for announcing that construction would be moving forward imminently. So our development team has crossed many bridges over the past, even during COVID. There was a lot of work going on to get through not only the several approvals that still had to be done locally, meaning between whether it be the development agreement with the city council or with the owners, the school board, the Paterson Public Schools, the school board. There were definitely some items that pertain to the preservation tax credit, for example, that came up that needed ratification by the board and by the council. They also had to get through toward their closing, documents where the finance pieces would all come together. So it's been a long journey for the development team and for the various governing bodies to get this project over the line to where they could strike out, have an event to announce that they were ready to go forward with construction. So they had a traditional groundbreaking event where there were a lot of elected officials attended, and there was pile of dirt and the shovels and the hard hats, etc., that we usually see at these events for photo ops and for press and for news. And there were articles generated, because of the event, the press event. So now we're looking to see when construction will get started. I wanted to tell you that we still have at the city level for management the grant that was provided by the National Park Service and by the state county to work on the exterior facade of the stadium along Maple Street and the signage issues that I've explained to you several times over the past year. So that is still, kind of out there. That's got to go out for bidding while the other construction gets started, whatever the activities that will get started first. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure that we'll all start to meet and get more informed about the construction process. And as I learn things and I'm kind of in with the development team and the architects and the contractors as things get started, I'll report back to you on the progress of the project as things start, taking off and getting off the ground. So maybe I'll have more to report to you about construction activities there, but at least in May. But at least I'll keep you informed about the status of the 2 grant projects that I just mentioned. I had also wanted to publicly congratulate the commission and thank each and every one of you for your tireless service to the commission and to the city. We recognize your volunteerism. We know the role that you've all played in the various formalities and steps that were needed in the historic preservation process, not only through stewardship of designations, from local designation to the National Historic Landmark designation, and just moving forward through this entire process, getting us to this point. So I would like to thank you. Many of you have been with the commission long enough to have seen maybe all of this project unfolding, and the stewardship that you provided has been very important. So again, congratulations and thank you for your service to this very important project. This does stand to be Paterson's sort of largest project probably of all time with regard to its cost and the amount of project value that is being poured into it. And it also is likely to be transformative for so many different reasons, not only for the falls, but also for our community and especially for our children, who will have a major benefit from this project being started and then completed. Under number 2, subdivision of Overlook Park under Great Falls National Historic Park. I've been reporting to you on this topic, and I'm pleased to tell you that this Wednesday, in a couple of days, we are scheduled to be at the planning board to give our presentation about the subdivision application for taking 2 lots on the south side of the river in the area consisting of Overlook Park, and subdividing it down to 4 parcels to prepare it for transfer to the United States, which is a very important and integral part of the construction of the visitor center on that side, which we've also been monitoring now for several years. We've been We've seen presentations. You've been hearing from me about updates on that project as well. So this project is right on the field of Angelo Stadium because both of them sort of share a similar format in their funding is based on the New Jersey ERG tax credit that's been offered to these projects to bring them into fruition. So we need to get Overlook Park sort of has the same set of hurdles that Angelo Stadium has had to go through as well. So under number 3, our HPC site fencing project, it's to tell you that as of maybe a week and a half ago, the HPC site fence was completed. We needed to break because of an unforeseen circumstance, sort of at the street level where the corner of the town and Mill Street meet, where the main gate to the main bridge was going to be installed. There was some issues with siting the toll footings, so we had to go to an alternative where we mounted the poles on the concrete cap of the raceway wall, and that caused the delay of needing to kind of prepare and order the right materials. There was welding involved and all sorts of changing the plan of attack there. So I think the fence looks really nice. I'd like to take the opportunity to show you some pictures of the fence as it's installed now. So bear with me, and I'll just click over to my photo section for you. Okay, I'm gonna. Can everyone see the photos?
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So since these photos are running very slowly, I think I'm going to just tell you about them as I go through them because the fence photos are a little bit, in the folder here. So what you're seeing on screen now is part of my report for the Great Falls Historic District. One of the large projects that we've been working on for several years is Morris Street, where the storage building behind the granite mill is converted to reuse as a charter school, and we had to approve also the erection of this new building for the gymnasium for the school. And this is a concrete tilt-up building that is pretty remarkable in that it's made of giant concrete panels that are actually cast on site and then lifted with a crane and put together in the way that you see here. We have since last month been through an intense period of doing material, brick and mortar reviews, as well as you can see the paint patch on the left side. The left side of the building is like a monolithic paint color, and the front of the building is getting full-scale brick. As you can see, the brick is just starting to be laid, and these openings that you see are for large bay window systems that were salvaged from a building that was demolished here on site to be rehabilitated and reinserted into this new building. So the rehab of those windows is also underway, and we've had several meetings on site, as I mentioned, to go over this intense period of building. So this is the brick that we've chosen and the mortar, and I think it's looking really good. And we just wanted to take an opportunity to show it to you. I'm not sure if I shared it with you, but we have a link to it, a drone video, one of those fast motion videos that shows construction happening really fast. And it's absolutely fascinating to see this little drone video of time-lapse video of this building being put together, being erected with the crane. So it's really fun to watch. So if I haven't sent that to you,
With the tilt up, this is with the
Yeah,
tilt.
you did send that out.
oh, I did send it to you. Okay. Now this is also something that's happening right next to the large building I just showed you. The demolition of an existing set of industrial ancillary buildings. Only one that's still partially standing that you can see here that is actually was historic. The other two over to the right were shed buildings that were not part of the historic fabric of the site. And there was some extensive degradation of this building from an engineering point of view and some conditions point of view. So the demolition has started. If you remember, another gym building similar to the one I just showed you was to be erected in this corner that you see on the screen. So when this is settled, they'll start to work on putting a new building here. And the bottom two floors of the mill have already started interior conversions for additional classroom space. So this entire complex now, the upper floors, the L-shaped portion, and the storage building, which is off screen here, are all going to be in the school reuse, representing two separate charter schools on this campus. So this is one of the bridges, but it's not the bridge I wanted to show you. This is where we've been staging. You can see there's sort of a parking area behind this gate, and we've been staging our equipment and our vehicles here during the fence project. And the next picture should show you a view of the new gate installation. There's two bridges, so there's two gates, one here on the left, one here on the right. You can see that the gates can and the fence in between them are installed a little bit back farther from where they were initially supposed to be installed. There's a secondary gate on the inside of this one, so the front of the bridge and also the rear of the bridge are also are fenced. Are gated actually, so I think this is sort of a double deterrent. There's another fence on the inside, which you can see just beyond this kind of one pole. On the other side of the raceway, there's another fence as well. So this is a point of great interest where folks were very used to coming and going as they pleased through this particular entrance. So this entrance was really focused on, and you can see the new signage is also erected in both Spanish and English, warning people to keep out, especially due to environmental contamination. So we are trying to switch the picture here. This is a photograph of the completed fence installation at the McBride Avenue Bridge crossing the Middle Raceway. The fence posts that you see here are done in black, and they're attached to the bridge, and they go down kind of to the raceway and keep folks from going underneath the bridge and entering into the site. And you can see the new fence here along the raceway path, though. So this area will continue to be fenced off for the same purpose in order to, until we are moving forward with not only the ATP site's reclamation, but also the raceway pathways and the raceway reclamation. So that's that's still some time in the future. Okay, I'm changing photos again. Tim Henderson took a trip down to visit the what we're calling now the Freedom Bell. This is the bell that was mounted at Overland Park for many years. As you recall, we met with Jimmy Richardson, and there's an effort. It was actually probably over a year ago now. It was before COVID when we first started talking about an effort to take the bell and move it over to the Underground Railroad site. And so we're starting to work on that again with the goal of having the bell, possibly even moved and installed by June. So we're looking at different stones, granite stones from the ATP fencing project that we encountered a lot of massive and sort of beautiful granite stone blocks that might well serve as a base for this bell. So we're working on that project again. So we wanted to, show you, that the bell is still here in Skeeper, and that we're working again on getting that project to go forward. I'm going to the next photo. Just a couple of photos of the Lambert Castle Rehab project. Of course, I believe there was an update by Kelly Rafal last time about this project being ongoing, and I don't have much to say other than to show you a few pictures of some of the progress. It's obviously there's a lot of very specialty work involved, and this is not the kind of project that moves ahead like in a less fast fashion. So the idea actually is to take more time and to make sure that it's done properly, and that there are a lot of different specialty finishes like decorative plaster moldings and murals that are painted right into the wall or the ceiling in this case, where there's patches that you see, the screen patch. There was a mural painted and a decorative frame around it. For example, this particular room has a sagging floor from above. The floor has to be lifted, and there's a lot of work with a lot of attention to detail that needs to be completed. So the interior work is moving, and on the exterior, we started to do some mock-ups for cleaning the masonry, and also getting ready to do mortar mock-ups and selecting some stone materials that need replacement. So they are moving forward on this project. Obviously, it's getting into the season now for building. I believe this is the floor directly above that ceiling that I just showed you. They removed the floor. Obviously, they have to work on lifting that floor up. So that concludes my my photos for Lucasville Park. If you haven't had the opportunity to kind of move, come down to the district, you'll notice that Lucasville Park is moving along. This kind of heat here is they're focused intently on demolishing the gazebo that was right at center frame. The statue of Lucasville is in the box that you see in center frame, and the gazebo is like this massive amount of concrete and brick that was made of. It really required a heck of a lot of chipping in order to get that out. And as you can see here on the side, these poles are being salvaged and saved, and we're holding on to them for reuse at a different site. I think I have only one or two more photos of Costello. This is like where the playground area will go, this view. And I think this is a close-up view of removing some of the foundation materials of the gazebo. You can also see that all of the pavers that were around, the walking pavers that were around here, were all removed, and they were stacked and they were stored for reuse. They're going to be reset. And that concludes my my photo presentation. So I'm going to go back to our agenda. And as you can see, Mr. Chairman, we've gone through various GFHC ongoing projects, and including the site fence installation, Quarry Lawn, Lucasville Memorial Park, Morris Street, which is not listed here, we talked about, and We're now down at Eastside Park, ongoing projects, and there's the new construction at 42nd Street. For an update on this, this is the new home that we worked very closely with the owner to help with the design review of a new residential building in the east side. And there was site work done and foundation set, and we had given release for the framing to go forward. We had done a review of all the exterior materials after the design review that we were set up to review, such as the finishes, the windows, the entrance door, etc. And at this point, if you go by the construction site, you'll see that none of the construction has proceeded beyond what was done even from just before the winter, I believe. All the site work that is was present then is still present now. And although all of this review was completed, we heard from the owners that they're considering selling the project, like not completing the construction and selling the project and its approvals, and not completing the construction themselves. So I'm not sure if we've gotten a definitive, we're sort of told that they were looking into this, and there are definitely some issues with selling a construction site in terms of liabilities and passing on professional license liabilities and warranties from the contractor to a new owner, etc. So this is what they were looking into before making a decision. Tim, is there any update on this that I'm not aware of or that I missed?
No, Gianfranco, your information is current. I just want to add that the property owner is working with the Uniform Construction Code official and also the construction official's technical assistant to fully understand the technicalities of this warranty. And Gianfranco and I are not, the only approvals that are going with the property is the design review that the commission and Gianfranco completed several months ago.
Thank you, Tim. Going back to, I'm noticing Quarry Lawn. I didn't mention about Quarry Lawn, but the status is we're getting kind of closer to the end of our construction document review. We're at 80% now. We expect to be at 100% documents in several weeks, like in early May. Then there's this whole process that it becomes administrative with regard to having the funding be part of the city budget and having the purchasing agent reviewing the documents in anticipation of bidding. So we're really hopeful that we'll be able to be out for bidding on Quarry Lawn in June. Like the month of May is a lot of administrative work to get it ready for bidding and out for bidding in June. So that's what I can tell you about Quarry Lawn. That's moving along quite well, and it won't be long, as I believe, until we're able to announce that the bids are out for inspection. Lambert Castle we did talk about under number 4, and the Danforth Memorial Library rehabilitation. We have an RFP now going out for design services. And the RFP has been prepared and drafted, and it's under review by the purchasing department. Once that's out there, we've got a process for selecting an architect, and I'll be able to report to you when we're actually starting in the design process, probably during the next couple of months. The Underground Railroad Freedom Belt project I also gave you a brief update on. So unless there are any questions, that concludes my report on item 6B.
Gianfranco, may I add something?
Of course.
I just wanted to remind the commission that the Oasis Women's and Children's Center at 59 Mill Street, if any of the commissioners are able to take a drive past that site, they will see that the work the commission approved I believe about 18 months ago, is in full swing. The addition building has been totally framed in steel and is now enclosed with Densglass, and they're beginning to apply the 3-coat stucco system that the commission approved. It will be a tinted stucco finish. And they will also this week be beginning to put the brick face and the string courses on the addition building to match the dominant building on the site, the original building. And they are also this week beginning to build up the 4th-story addition on the original building. So there's some very exciting work going on at the Oasis site, and that was all carefully reviewed by the commission quite a while ago. But I just want the commission to know that they can see their efforts at the Oasis site.
Thank you, Tim.
Conclude?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless there are any questions, no one has got their hand up right now, but be happy to answer any questions.
I see Chair Rafael.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I don't know if it's a question. It's more for Gianfranco and Tim regarding Lambert Castle. I just got something regarding the floor staining. Is that something that you would want to review as part of the condition? I know we're doing mock-up, so it's another mock-up that just came in, just as an FYI.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back in touch with you about it tomorrow. I'd like also for the record to show that Commissioner Garcia Leon is also on the meeting with us. When we called her roll, she wasn't on the meeting, but she is here with us now. Thank you.
So noted.
Please note that. Thank you. With that being said, I do want to say thank you, Executive Director, for the very detailed report and rundown from each item and update on various projects throughout the districts in Paterson. If there are no additional questions, I'd like to get a motion to open up the public portion.
So moved.
Second, Rich.
All right, Secretary, do you have that? Chair Rafael with the motion and Commissioner Walter with the second.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner DeLees.
Absent.
Commissioner Garcia Leon.
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed.
Yes.
Commissioner Corbo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rafael.
Yes.
Commissioner Redmond.
Absent.
Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Chair Tate.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much. So the time is currently 7:48. Secretary, could you please provide the telephone number and access to call in? We're going to give the public about 3 to 5 minutes before we close public portion. Thank you.
Those who would like to participate in the public portion may call in at 973-321-1579 and enter meeting ID 711-680-001.
Chairman, looks like we have a caller. Mr. Chairman, can you hear me? Hello?
John Franco, this is Rich. I hear you, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I believe Brian Lapinto is calling in, so, Brian, are you there? Okay, not yet. They're probably still hooking him up. Okay, he's calling in now. He's, still working on getting hooked up. Chairman Tate, are you there?
Confirmed. Pardon, I had a
Okay.
slight issue.
Okay, good. So we have, Brian Lapinto is calling in, so let's, they're still sort of connecting him, so just stand by. Hello?
Brian, are
Yes,
you there?
hello? Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Lapinto.
Yes. Am I live?
You are live.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So Brian Lapinto from Castle Stadium. I just, since this was the first Historic Preservation Commission meeting after the groundbreaking, I just wanted to just call and just say thank you to the Historic Preservation Commission for all the diligence and hard work over the years. I mean, you're talking about 20 years of work or more. And I just wanted to say thank you, because without your diligence, I don't think we would have been as far as we have. And not only to all of you there, but also past commissioners, and certainly Marty Feifowitz comes to mind, as he was a longtime commissioner and really had a very special place in his heart for Angelo Stadium. So I'm appreciative, to him. It was really nice to see Commissioner Tate at the event last week. But one thing that struck me was that I guess we all come to have the same affliction, where none of us were invited to that event. And I just think it's a little bit disappointing that the Historic Preservation Commission wasn't invited to the event, because as a certified local government, you are part of the city. I understand not inviting me. I guess I'm kind of like the villain. But the Historic Preservation Commission should have been there. But it was nice to see Commissioner Tate there, even if he found out through back channels like I did. So, but again, I just really wanted to say congratulations to all of you. And there's still more work that needs to be done. But I'm sure we're up to the task and making sure that this project is the best it could possibly be. I don't know if there's any new information about the home plate and the diamond returning to the Negro Leagues location. But as we all know, it's the African American history through the Negro Leagues that allowed all of us to be a part of this process. So I don't know if there's anything in writing yet. I'm looking forward to that day coming soon, hopefully. But if there's anything the commission can do, that would be great. And I think that's pretty much it for me at this point. I just wanted to kind of say hello and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lapinto. And I do want to say your due diligence over the years has been, tremendous. And you are a key part of this as well. And we like to thank you for your efforts.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Like I said, I think there's still more work to be done, but August 2022 will be here pretty quick. So look
right
forward
around
to that day as well. Exactly. Hopefully we'll all get invited this time.
That's the goal.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, and be well.
Executive Director, can you confirm if there are any additional calls?
Mr. Chairman, I do not see indication that there are other callers. Do you want me to just ask and confirm?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm doing that now. Stand by. No other callers, Mr. Chairman.
Confirmed. Can we get a motion to close public portion and a second?
Make a motion.
Second.
Secretary, did you record the motion and second?
Yes, I have Commissioner Garcia Leon making the motion and Vice Chair Rafael seconding.
Confirmed.
Commissioner Garcia Leon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed,
It looks like he may have dropped off because he's not on our list any longer. He may have had a problem and dropped off.
understood. Commissioner Corpo,
Yes.
Commissioner Redmond,
Absent.
Vice Chair Rafael,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Looks like a minute might be back. I see him back on the list.
Sorry guys, I'm back. My phone somehow dropped off.
understood. Thank you, Ahmed. Commissioner Simpson,
He's on mute.
Commissioner Walters, yes.
Yes.
Thank you both. And Vice Chair Tate,
Yes. And just a point of clarity, I heard Commissioner Simpson. He said yes.
yes, thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, so before we close the meeting, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for everything that you put into this. You're all doing a great job. We're making great progress each meeting, all of the conversations in between our meetings. Executive Director, thank you for, leading the tribe forward on a lot of this. Tim, thank you for your energy. And Maita, again, I just want to say thank you so much for, joining our team.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
also, can I just mention before closing as well, I think I'm going to ask, send an email around to ask commissioners if they want to continue with the WebEx format for meeting or go back to meeting in person. Our city council has started meeting in person. I think everyone knows that at this point. I believe if there's a consensus in the commission to meet in person at the City Hall chambers, we could start looking into that. So I'll send around an email and ask to hear from people about your feelings about that before, there'll come a time when, of course, they'll tell us it's mandatory to go back to in-person meetings, but I have no idea when that might be coming. But since our city council is meeting in person, I believe that we could solicit to meet in person if that's what people's desire is. So I just want to mention that, and again, thanks to all of you for your service to the commission, especially on all of the projects that we're seeing coming into fruition this year. Some of them, as you know, we've reviewed some time ago, but we had a very busy year last year for approvals. It's been nice to have a couple of meetings without new business and to be able to go over some of the, watching some of the successes in preservation start to unfold with the approved plans that we had come before the commission starting to get into construction. So we're looking forward to a very busy summer, and even going forward from there. There's so many other projects that are getting earmarked that some of which we've already approved, others, that are going to be coming forward. So again, I hope you've enjoyed these shorter meetings, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Executive Director.
Yeah, thank you.
With that being said, I'd like to get a motion to close the meeting.
So,
Commissioner Walter,
I heard Commissioner Walter
second.
and Commissioner Leone for the second. Can we record that, Secretary?
Confirmed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Commissioner Garcia Leon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Corbo,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rafael,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter,
yes.
Chair Tate.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 8:02 p.m. on April 19th, 2021. Thank you all and have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night all, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.